what happens when you're dead.
Couldn't you get like some sort of harness, like big backpack or something, and strap her in the back of that?
I've seen ghosts, but don't believe in them.
I've got a little bloke here, but I think he's wearing army uniforms. I'm in the last month of my pregnancy.
I'm not wiping your ass.
What?
Hi, welcome to hell.
We're all here, and you're like dogs here and all that.
Yeah, it's alright.
Should we have a look at some ghost stories?
The egg and the sperm. I've got someone here. Good! Let's go then. We're looking forward to this one. Let's get on it. Pink gin, rhubarb gin, lovely. A bit of Gordon's.
What are you doing?
Gonna get on it, aren't we? You told me we're going to talk about spirits today. You know, I'm manager of a bar. I'm not going to let you down. I'm going to look like a plonker on my own podcast. Oh, shit.
Hello, welcome back to episode number 6 of the In Brother Words podcast with me, Robbie Bailey, and him, Tommy Bailey. Thank you very much for the support on last week's episode with Mr. Colin Wilden. We've had a lot of great feedback on that, and I think everybody now knows how much of a legend he is, not just us. If you can subscribe to the channel, that'd be really, really appreciated. We've gained quite a few subscribers in the last week or so, and it really helps us to grow the channel as well. So drop us a subscribe if you can. This week, Hypnosis and the Supernatural.
Should we start with what happens when you're dead?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think?
Nice and cheery.
Because we're both christened, but we're both non-religious.
Yeah.
But I think we've got different opinions on
What happens when you're dead?
afterlife. Yeah.
Okay.
So you start.
Okay. So atheist in terms of religion and in terms of everything else, pretty much just completely don't believe in anything. I think you're dead and that's it.
That's all, folks.
I think you're on the devil to say that. If heaven was a thing and hell was a thing, what would they be? So, for example, my heaven would be... it wouldn't look too dissimilar to the food court that into Derby, but there's no queues.
Oh, yeah.
And there's always a table to sit at.
Yeah.
Because that's always a mare when you go to into.
What about like a theme park with no queues as well? That'd be quite good.
Yeah, all that. It'd probably be a mix between the two. So one minute you got Charmaine, and the next minute you're on Apocalypse. Which I mean, probably not at the same time.
Yeah.
My hell would be a Tupperware party where everyone says, I listen to a bit of everything, and everyone's got pickled onions everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Check out Room 101 podcast.
I'm going to say my hell exists. It's called Lush. So that'd be it. But heaven is... So I sponsor a guide dog, and every so often they do like a live stream of the guide dog training centre, and it's just a load of like puppies, mainly Labrador puppies, just playing around and stuff. And that piece of grass where they all just live and play around and chase the cameraman around, that'd probably be heaven, I reckon. Just me in there with a load of dogs.
I think if Lush was hell, the Satan would like be the same as what their staff are like. Do you think he'd be like, "Hi, welcome to hell. Are you okay? Oh, you smell lovely. What are you wearing? Yeah, nice. Now go over there and shovel that fire into the pit
in the abyss."
Yeah. So my opinion of when you die, I don't believe in a heaven or a hell or anything religious. I don't believe in God or anything like that, apart from Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in any superpower. But I just don't think it's like as cut and dry as like, you know, you just close your eyes and you're done. Because it's such a miracle, life and birth and everything. You know, the egg and the sperm. And the egg and the sperm like fusing and like a bloody... A little heart forming and starting to beat on its own, and the amazing like life cycle of a baby growing up, blah blah blah. All this activity you have going on in your brain as well at all time is just like a ball of wires and information and energy and whatever. I just don't see that. Just one day, you go, dum 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 dum, and you go, yeah. There's got to be, even if it's only a few minutes of like something that happens. I've read into a lot of like people who've had near death experiences and stuff, or people who've had like really strong drugs, basically, and feel like they've seen like that other
like
side.
psychedelics and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of. You should go and search it yourselves if you're watching this, and it sounds interesting because it really is like people who've kind of been dead for a few minutes, and they've said like in that time they've never felt so at ease and happy and carefree as they did in that moment. Do you know what I mean? Like all the strains of life were just disconnected and they were just in this like peaceful state. I don't know. Do you worry about death?
Not at all, no. Not really.
Good!
Maybe early death, obviously. Like I wouldn't want to die like young or anything like that. But I don't fear dying when I'm older. If anything, like I think in our generation we'll end up living to the point where when we die it'll be like we'll be ready to go. Do you know what I mean? Because we'll be old enough by then. I feel like getting some sort of serious illness or something, like at an age where somebody else has to look after me or whatever, which is obviously.
I'm not wiping your ass.
Not again.
Not again.
No, not this week anyway. Yeah, so something like that. But I don't really fear death. What about you?
No, I fear. This sounds so like vain, but it's not meant to be. I fear other people's reactions to me dying.
No, I wouldn't bother.
No, like the thought of like Louise, my girlfriend, and you and the family, like the effect it would have. You know, if I knew as a guarantee, shut up. You know, if I knew for a guarantee that the second I die, I'm erased from everyone's memory.
Oh, that'd be awful.
And no one knows that I'm dead or will be upset about it.
So you just like disappear from the logo and everything.
Yeah.
And then it's just me sat here.
You're like,
own.
in brother words. What a shit name. I've not even got a brother.
But there's just, and explaining just another stand there, and I just sat like this for the episode.
All around me, I'm familiar. So, if you were to reincarnate as an animal, what would it be?
See, I quite like the idea of being like underwater, just because that's a completely different world. If you're going to start, I think if you're going to have to start your life again as an animal, I think if you're an animal that's living around humans, you'd be like fuming that you're not human. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're a wasp or whatever, you'd be flying past thinking, oh, I used to be. You mean I used to play football and that, and then but like now you can't because you're an animal. Whereas if you reincarnate as something that lives under the sea, it's a completely different world anyway, isn't it? Like you could go your entire life without even seeing a human, and it's a completely different world to explore. So I'd probably be like a shark or something. Yeah, dolphin or something like that.
We're definitely going to Photoshop your face on a dolphin.
Yeah, that's coming. That was good.
That was alright, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, so probably some sort of marine animal. Or sea lion, you've got the head for it.
Not on about me yet.
No, go on.
I think I'd be a peacock. I think they're really majestic. I'd love to roam around Ralston in Burton.
Small cock one,
yeah, I think I'd be a peacock. I think they're beautiful. I think the feathers are lovely. And yeah, like I say, I do like Ralston.
Ralston?
Yeah, they walk around Ralston. Shout out if you're from Ralston in Burton. They wander around the roads and that. I think they've got at least 3.
They sell nice shirts and that as well, don't they?
Twat. I think I'm the only person I've heard say this, but I've seen ghosts, but don't believe in them.
Yeah. Yeah. See what you think it's like in your head.
Yeah. So I had a few encounters during my kind of, how old would I have been? 12 to 14?
What, you're talking about when we lived in Burton? Because you'd have been younger than that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Maybe like 10, 11, something like that.
Okay, around that time, I saw quite a few things, like Victorian men and children running around. When did I see one? In the Octagon Centre in Burton. You know, was it BT?
BT's used to be on
and
both
I was just
levels.
waiting for Mum, stood outside the shop, and I just saw a Victorian man and child walking away from me. So I just saw their backs, and they just like disappeared into the
Into
clothes
BTs.
rails. Yeah, and it's really strange because I had a few more instances as well. One on Derby Road in Burton, and quite a few at home as well, seeing like figures and stuff. When you're actually seeing them, you don't think about it. I mean, loads of people say this, like, I need to see it to believe it. But in that moment, you won't go, oh my God, I'm seeing a ghost. Get your photo out, quick, selfie. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just see it, you experience it.
And then retrospectively,
And then
you put it
afterwards,
on.
you think, shit, I've just seen...
A ghost. Yeah,
Yeah.
but is it like... Because you don't really know what it is you've seen, and maybe because you're at the age where you really didn't really know what it was, maybe, Is it like you just do a big jump to it must have been a ghost rather than logically think through it now? Like, you know when you say you don't believe in ghosts now?
Yeah.
Is that because now with hindsight you think, oh, it might have been
just because
something
I'm
else?
older and, like, I've read into it a bit more. But basically, it was during, like the most stressful period of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just my brain's way of... I think it's basically the brain's way of dealing with stuff.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I'd have to look into it deeper as to, you know, how did that help me cope with stuff? It maybe doesn't at all, because the things I was seeing weren't, like, helpful. But maybe if your brain's going through a lot of stress or trauma or whatever, that's probably the healthiest outlet for it, rather than your brain just crumbling.
Yeah.
It might be like, you know, you're going to see a few dodgy things. I remember telling my auntie, Jem, if you shout out Gemma Gibson if you're watching, but about her old house, I was like, I'm never staying here, because I looked upstairs and I could see like a hazy
I remember that.
figure. And I think it was only a few months after they moved out, because loads of weird stuff was going on. Duvets being pulled off beds and all sorts.
Yeah, see, I'd like to say I think it's one of those things that unless you've experienced it yourself, you can't really have an opinion on it, because I've never had anything that would say was that. Do you know what I mean? Like a ghost experience.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments anybody who thinks they've seen a ghost or what the circumstances were, because I'd be interested in to know how many people that we know have actually would say they've seen them and stuff. Should we have a look at some ghost stories online?
Yes.
So this first one's called Doppelganger.
Okay.
All right, so it says, late at night I usually go to the bathroom multiple times, but for the past 4 days, every time I go to leave the bathroom, she can see herself still standing in the mirror in the corner of her eye. So she can see herself. She moves past the mirror and herself, she's still there in the mirror watching herself leave.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the other me is watching me leave the bathroom. It terrifies me to the point where I run out without looking directly at the mirror. I never told my husband about it because I didn't want to acknowledge it out loud. Earlier today, I took a nap in our bed, and he sat on a chair next to the bed watching TV. When I woke up, he told me that out of the corner of his eye, he'd watched me sit up, crawl backwards to the edge of the bed, and go to the toilet. He thought it was weird that I got up like that, but because I'm in the last month of pregnancy, I can't really move so good without it hurting. So he tried talking to me. When he turned round to talk to me, I was still in the bed asleep and hadn't moved the way he thought he had. He thought it was creepy as well, but didn't really want to talk about it anymore because he thinks it will give whatever it is power or energy. I have no idea what it wants or why we both saw it. Yeah. See, I think there's a very, very important line in this. I'm in the last month of my pregnancy.
So, like, there's some weird stuff going on upstairs, or...
But then I'm thinking, why has he seen it and all?
Yeah, that is weird. You got one more?
Okay, so it's called Haunted Hotels. When I was 15, I travelled to Europe with my family. We stayed in Ettal, Germany, in a small inn for a few nights. My parents had a double bed on the second floor. My sisters had the double bedroom next to theirs, and I was lucky enough to have a single room all to myself at the far end of the hall.
Why?
It's lucky enough to have it. When we went to check into our rooms, as soon as I entered the hallway our rooms were in, I remember almost feeling as though I walked into a wall of bad energy. This might be similar to what you were saying about Jem. I just felt so unnerved and uneasy in that hallway, but I passed it off as an overactive imagination. I slept the first night without any issues other than waking up a few times. The next morning at breakfast, one of my sisters mentioned feeling really uncomfortable in the hallway, almost as if the air was crushing her. It unnerved me even more that I wasn't the only one who felt weirded out. Plus she was an adult at the time, so it further cemented in my head that the wing of the hotel was odd. Later that night, I'm sleeping peacefully when at about 2 a.m. I'm woken by someone ripping the covers off me and being jerked about 2 feet towards the end of the bed by my ankles. At first I thought someone had broken into my room, because when I turned towards what had grabbed me, a huge looming black shape was visible in the darkness, like a man was in my room. I frantically flicked the light on, only to there have been nothing there. The window was locked from the inside. There was no one in the closet or the bathroom, and my room was also still locked from the inside. I stayed up the rest of the night playing Cooking Mama on my DS. Which is so
what do I do? I'm scared. Shrimp wontons.
Yeah, classic that, isn't it?
Yeah.
The next morning, we were at breakfast, and my sister mentions that she was up half the night because she thought she saw a person silhouetted against the wall of the room. But when she
I see a little silhouette of a ghost.
But when she turned on the light, there was no one there. It was just a bizarre and creepy experience. We checked out that day, so I didn't get to experience anything after that. But it still freaks me out to this day.
Dragged on, didn't it?
I like the Cooking Mama bit though, so I wanted to say it.
Yeah. Keeping it retro, isn't she?
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, it's all right. No disrespect to anyone who does believe in ghosts or anything. It's all good. I know that...
Then, like I say, let us know in the comments, because be interesting, won't it? Like
it gives a lot of people a lot of comfort.
Yeah. Has anybody else seen a ghost in Beatties as well back in the day? Because you might have seen the same one.
Yeah.
Or on Derby Turn roundabout.
Yeah.
You saw a Victorian bloke there, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. The same thing. Same.
Is it the same people?
There was a guy holding a little boy's hand. Could have been Prince Andrew.
Oh, it's definitely me.
What about medians?
I think it's very much along the lines of Clinton Baptiste from Phoenix Nights.
This phenomena is Clinton Baptiste.
You alright?
And it's just like, well, they call it cold reading, don't they? And you use what people are sort of telling you, either subliminally or actually in answers to questions, to make them feel like you're telling them their truth.
Yeah.
So he goes over and he's like, "Oh, I'm getting your name," and then he's like, and she's got a necklace with a letter.
She works at Matalan and she's got her name thingy. I'm getting a name.
Yeah, so then he goes over and he's like, "Oh, you've not been very well," and the woman says, "Oh no, Tracy's been ill," or something like that. And then he goes down that line, and that's very much how it works in real life. And then the person who has been ill will go home that night and say, "Oh, he knew straight away that I'd been ill." No, he didn't. Do you know what I mean? And
they use really persuasive language. Do you know what I mean? I could say to
brilliant.
you don't like football, do you? Like that. Now, give me the two answers to that. Like, yes or no, okay? You're not into football, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were.
What you
I could
were.
feel it,
Yeah.
Now they're
He
the
just
other way.
someone just kicked me a
You're not
ball.
into football, are you?
No.
No. That's what I was feeling straight away. And it's just because I said you're not.
Yeah.
Are you?
Just the way that you were.
If you're a believer, which you will be, to come to this kind of shit show, you would think that because I've said it in that way that I knew you weren't into football.
Yeah. Or like when they say, "I've got a little bloke here, but I think he's wearing army uniform. Sort of looks like First World War sort of era army uniform." Now, in a room full of 300 people, how many people are likely to have?
I'm getting summit. Has anybody in here had someone dead that they know?
Yeah, what do you mean? Like, how many people in that room are likely to have? And men of that generation would have been small
In the army, yeah.
and then in the army. So, like, how many people? It's so
Always
likely.
in flat caps, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's never like I've got someone here. She's. Oh, where is she now? She's at Costa. She's got some quavers. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's always, she's in a rocking chair. She's on a rocking horse. She's in the army. She's got a gas mask on.
Yeah.
Sorry. I know we're staying, like, kind of political and each to their own, but I think they are fraudulent. I think they take advantage of grieving people. And I think it's a disgusting dark art.
Just reminded me of... Our life's too short. Oh, it's John. John, know John. No. You don't know any Johns? That's mental.
Yeah, that's mental. That's never happened.
It's usually John or Dave or something like that, isn't
Yeah.
it? But it's crazy. Yeah, so not for me. Not for me. What do you think, medium?
And another thing, final word on mediums. If you could talk to dead people, right, you would be worshipped. You would be a god amongst men. You would not be doing a psychic supper at the Greyhound in Ashby. Do you know what I mean? A reading and a carvery for $29.99.
Yeah.
You would be, on some, do you know what I mean, throne, and people would be kissing your feet. And it's always like, I'm getting a message from your great granddad here. Now, your great granddad at that point has got a list of things he could tell you. He could tell you, I've spoke to JFK, I know how he's dead. I've spoke to Elvis today. Oh, by the way, afterlife's real. That one massive question that everyone wants to know. There is an afterlife. No, he just wants to remind you, remember when you used to eat sweets on me knee?
Yeah. I've always said, right, mediums, right? When I die, assuming that I know I'm going to die or I'm just old or whatever, I'm going to say to you, no one's going to know about this other than you, so only you'll know. I'm going to say...
Don't say it here then.
I'm not going to say it, but just the most random phrase possible. I'll just do some sort of word generator and just come up with the most random sentence, and I'll say, do not ever tell anybody else this.
Yeah.
And if the afterlife is real, and I can talk to you through
You'll say
a
that
medium,
combination.
I will only say this exact sentence.
Yeah.
And then you will know for a fact that it's real. Anything other than that, it's a load of bollocks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I say, because why wouldn't the message from every dead person be, yeah, it's real? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm here and it's sound. Do you know what I mean? And it's all gonna be fine, and we're all here, and your dog's here and all that. It's sound. But no, it's like I say, it's some absolute shite.
Yeah.
On to today's special little thing that we've got to show people. So I want you to cast
We're getting
your mind
Robbie's
back.
nudes out. Robbie's got an OnlyFans.
We'll have less subscribers than this. Won't we? Hypnosis, then. Okay, so I want you to cast your mind back to July 2015. What were you doing? Where were you? Who are you? I was a student at uni at the time, Sheffield. I think you were working at DHL, weren't you? Mm-hmm. And it was Derby had a pre-season friendly against Grimsby away, and our grandma and granddad, Margaret and Dave, shout out, had a caravan in Mablethorpe at the time. So we decided to go and watch the Grimsby against Derby game, and then go and stay a night at the caravan, just me and Tommy. So we went to watch the game. Derby lost 2-1, terrible. We had a good day in Cleethorpes, and then we went back to Mablethorpe, and we went to a bar called the Dunes. Should put a photo in for that.
Yeah.
And the entertainment for the night was a hypnotist.
Just paint the scene of the Dunes. Like Mablethorpe in general is a bit of a time warp, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you go back at least 30 years. So the Dunes was what you'd expect. Really cheap alcohol, a bit, in it, but like nice people. And that we loved it.
It is what it is.
Great
Anybody
time.
who's ever holidayed in the UK, a Skegness or a Scarborough or whatever, like you'll be very familiar with the type of establishment we're talking about. And the hypnotist on the night was a guy called Chris Good, and I'll stick the poster up for you. So his poster says, "The most fun you'll ever have in your sleep," which sounds a bit creepy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It says, "Time to see the show. Time to see Britain's funniest hypnotist. Time for you to be a star. Time flies when you're having fun. Time to laugh till you cry. Seeing is believing. Come and see your friends as you have never seen them before." We were both in the mind frame of, okay, we don't really know if hypnosis is a thing. So then we decided, we said one of us should go up on stage. We're in this random bar in Mablethorpe. We don't know anybody there. If it works, then both of us will know forever that hypnosis is genuinely a thing. So we thought this is a perfect opportunity for one of us to get up there. How did we decide that it was going to be me?
I didn't want to do it.
Okay. Tommy didn't want to do it, so I went up there, and then followed probably the most entertaining an hour and a half of Tommy's life.
Yeah. The first thing to notice, he's not invested an awful lot in set, has he?
No.
In props.
No.
Or
8
whatever.
chairs just from the arena. Terrible curtain.
So here's Mablethorpe's finest.
Mm-hmm.
They're all out. They've all got dolled up. Look.
That person there with the who's just got on stage with the white shoes on.
Here he is.
works behind the bar, and there's me.
Here's Rob, look.
Terrible clobber.
Yeah.
My hair as well. It's that student hair that is. Couldn't afford a haircut.
Big time.
Last one. Robbie. You in a boy band, Robbie? A student. Lazy twat, then don't do no work all bloody day.
He's got that banged on, to be fair. Yeah. Even the boy band. Tell us a little bit, like, what does that feel like? Because I'm sat there. I'm sat there with my Southern Comfort and lemonade, like this. Like, thinking, are you taking the piss or what?
Yeah. I was wondering what you must have been thinking. Well, I wasn't, obviously, at this point, 'cause I'm gone. But basically, what it was like... So at the start, he did a few tests to see how susceptible you were to it. So one of them was you had to put your arms out in front of you like this. And then they just played this music and it was all dark. And then after a minute, you had to open your eyes. And my arms were like that, like separate. Just purely just whatever the music was doing. And that shows that the wider your arms are apart, the more imagination you've got and the more open you are to being hypnotised. Mm-hmm. And then basically with a combination of closing your eyes, the music, him talking and stuff, he slowly puts you into this sort of trance. And at this point, I'm gone at this point. So we're all asleep and he's constantly saying, go deeper, deeper, 100, 200 times deeper. And you're just gone, basically. So I'm gone at this point.
In front of you, I want you to imagine in front of you there is a piano.
At this point, I'm literally thinking, like, you're taking the mick out
Playing
of the
along
whole
with
thing.
it. Really?
Yeah.
Why would I do that?
Or feel bad and don't want to be like, come on, mate. Because I knew you didn't believe it.
I want you to play this piano for me. Here we go. Make as much noise as you like now, they haven't got a bloody clue what's happening.
Some serious head movement there.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, you're crap at playing instruments, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm not even in time. I'm not doing it right.
Play this piano with your feet.
Oh, I love this bit.
Play with your feet.
Play it with your feet.
Look, I'm waving.
Look.
I'm doing that. Oh, the size of my head as well. Sniper's dream.
Hands. Play with your knees. Play with your hands.
I know what's coming.
Smile on your face in a cheesy grin and wave to the audience. And the audience wave back.
Could you see me?
No, you were right at the back, weren't you?
Yeah.
Play with your special bits. Play
With your special bits.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, see that? Sure, there's a hen dude there and they're screaming.
Wait, you gotta watch this bit again. Okay, I need to set this bit up. So one of the things he made us do was pretend we were driving a tractor.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, you're driving a tractor and you see in your field, in a hay bale, there's two people having sex. And so he comes down the line, he's like, oh, what do you want to say to him? And everyone's like, oh, go on, give her one from me, all that. He gets to the guy at the end, guy Ivan, and he says, any chance of joining in?
Yeah.
Right? And then the hypnotist says, oh, okay, yeah, they've let you join in. And so he's saying to him, oh, like, yeah, go for it, really, like, give it to her, all that sort of stuff. And then he gives him an inflatable ram.
Yeah.
So this guy thinks he's having sex with these, like, this couple. Watch. He's like slowed it down. He slowed the pace.
Imagine this. Grandma, have you got any videos of Grandad? I've heard he's
It
retired.
looks a bit like Cole. It looks a bit like Cole Wilden, doesn't it? It looks a little bit like Cole Wilden.
How's Grandad getting on?
Okay, so this is me pretending I'm a chicken.
Bear in mind the safety of the stage at all times. You're the best rooster in the garden. You're the best one. Let's hear you go.
You're proper going for it there, aren't you?
I want you to lay me an egg.
Want you to lay me an egg? every chicken grabs the egg and pulls it out their arse. It's a square egg. Here we go, look. You look very pretty.
Yeah, so at this point, it was whenever this music plays, I have to dance around like a ballerina.
What is that?
I have to say, I had these brown shoes on, brogues, and I had fuck all grip on them.
Wonder what the hell's happening. Alright, pal.
So, just pause that there.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he wakes you there,
I'm still under.
I was going to say you must be still under, because otherwise you'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah, I'm like I'm awake in the hypnosis world. So
Yeah.
I'm hypnotized to wake up and wonder where I am. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, but I'm still hypnotized.
Yeah, yeah.
Take a seat. I'll get rid of that for you in a minute. Robbie. The next time the hypnotist blows a raspberry, you will think you've shit yourself. You will think you've dumped in your pants.
What he didn't know is that you already had.
Yeah,
So.
you would think you've dumped in your pants.
When you get to the first set of steps, you'll realise it's just a fart. And you'll come all the way back to us. Nod your head if you understand me, Robbie. What's up, mate?
What's his face will come here when you come back?
What's up, Robbie? You alright, mate?
Thought I shit me sandwich.
Shit me, son. Amazing.
It's 0 degrees. It's 0 degrees. It's -5. It's -10. You're freezing cold. Snuggle up to the person next to you and get warm.
I love that you've never met this bloke in your whole life. But
One because you don't know your name. Sleep.
Look at Ivan.
Imagine someone there. It's -50 and you're freezing your nads off.
Oh God, look at me.
You're shivering. It's -60. The icicles coming out. The penguins are freezing.
I think he puts his leg on me.
the penguins are
Look. I don't know this guy at all, by the way. I still don't know.
It's starting to warm up. It's 0. It's 10, 20. It's 30 degrees.
Here we go. Listen to this Hindu's disappointment when he won't
Yeah.
let Robbie take his shirt
I was fully ready to take my shirt off at this point.
Listen.
Put on some suntan lotion. Put on some sunblock. You will leave your clothes on at all times. You will not remove your clothes.
Boring!
Imagine you're on your surfboards. Jump out your seat and go surfing.
Gotta rewind that back. The jump into it. The jump.
Imagine you're on your surfboards. Jump out your seat and go surfing.
Oh god, that's amazing.
Look at the bloke from behind the bar.
Going for it.
What's he doing? It's terrible.
So you'll ever be a surfer?
Definitely not. I've been surfing before. I was terrible at it.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's obvious from that that hypnosis is a thing.
Yeah.
Because you. Yeah,
so
that wasn't acting.
Yeah,
that was
I mean,
genuine.
I can tell you for 100% fact that hypnosis is a thing. But I would also say, if you ever get the chance to be hypnotized,
Do it.
do it and buy the DVD and stuff, because then you know that it's definitely true.
It's quite. We've both said this. It's quite scary to think
Yeah.
what he could do with that power, how you could abuse that power.
Yeah. Because I think it was about an hour and a half, was it, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we were there together. I decided to go up, so Tommy's just sat in this bar in Mablethorpe on his own,
Yeah.
completely confused probably at what was going on stage.
Yeah.
And I came back and I think I said something to you like, "Oh, that wasn't long, was it?" And you were like, "It was like an hour and a half."
Yeah. Robbie thought he'd been up there like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
How I would describe it for somebody who hasn't been hypnotized is somewhere between two things: being really, really, really drunk to the point where you do something and you sort of your subconscious mind saying you shouldn't be doing this, but you can't stop yourself from doing it. Somewhere between that and being asleep, like a lucid dream where you sort of know you're asleep a bit. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I knew that I was on stage. I knew that I was running around like a chicken, but I couldn't stop myself from doing it. Do you know what I mean? It was like I was being told that's what I had to do, and that's what I was doing. So it's a very, very strange experience.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Give it a try if you ever get the chance, if you ever go to Mablethorpe.
Okay, so now it's time for a supernatural edition of Robbie's Rankings.
You little ranker.
It's actually not. Yeah, it's not that supernatural, really. It's all about superpowers.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 superpowers, and you have to list them 1 to 5.
Okay.
What you would have and why, and like what you would do with them if you had them.
Yeah, go on then.
So, invisibility,
Yeah.
and we're assuming on that you can turn it on and off.
Okay.
Not that you're just invisible all the time.
Yeah, that'd be crap,
That's
wouldn't
not really a power, is it? That's a disability, isn't it? Yeah. Flying.
Yeah.
Again, you decide what
Yeah.
then. Mind reading.
Yeah.
Super speed. I'm talking like Dash off the Incredibles
Yeah.
level. And then shape shifting. So you could just turn into anything.
Okay. So in number 5, I would put the super speed. I don't really know what I'd gain from it. Am I allowed to openly use these powers? Can people know about them?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'd be like a superhero.
Yeah, super speeds. It's a bit whack, isn't it? Really, like I don't really see much value to it. I couldn't tell you what I'd do with it because you can't be a runner.
Running in the Olympics?
No, because where would the
They wouldn't let you in the Olympics.
They wouldn't let you in.
No.
Yeah, and there's no
No competition.
no, there's no kind of legitimacy in any kind of athletic success
No.
if you are supernatural at running.
Get somewhere fast.
Yeah, but
Not
I can
bothered
do
about
that
it.
with flying.
What about at work? You could like move about quicker at work.
I don't think I'd work in a restaurant if I was a superhero.
That's such a good point. Yeah.
I'm Superman, but first I've got a 9-4. Number 4, I will put shape-shifting. Again, I don't think it's the greatest superpower to have. If I was going to put it to good use, I would probably be a kid's entertainer. So I'd do like parties and that.
Yeah.
Because imagine you could be like a kid's entertainer to the absolute stars, like as in like get paid loads if it was like, so kids, what's your favourite whatever? And one of them shouts, lion. And you could jump behind the curtain, turn into a lion, come out "Roar," jump back in the curtain, then it's me again. Just imagine the action.
I think you're limiting yourself. Don't you think that being a children's entertainer is a bit like it's a bit low down on the scale of things you could do with that skill?
What can you do with it then?
Literally anything. Like work for MI5 or something. You could do like major international.
Why
like,
put myself under that
espionage.
stress?
Instead, you're going to go and work at like Coco the Clown Circus.
To be fair, I wouldn't have to work, would I? Because I'd have my own house.
Yeah.
And every time the bailiffs come, I'd just turn into a potato or something.
Yeah, you wouldn't work at a restaurant because you had a superpower, but you'd get
And
another
make model balloons.
Yeah, you'd get a superpower and then get a job off the back of that.
Number 3 would be mind reading. I think
Okay.
that's just a cool thing to have, isn't it?
How would you use it? Though? Do you think that would be one way you'd need to be able to turn it on and off? Because otherwise,
Yeah, you don't want to know it all the time. I don't want to know what people think of me all the time.
Yeah, and what do you think? How do you think it would work? Would it be like you could look at me and then you can hear in my voice what I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking hell, his head's massive.
If I was going to use it for like monetary purposes, mind reading, I'd be a poker player,
Yeah.
professional
Oh
poker
yeah,
player,
that's a dream.
because you can never lose because you know what everyone's got.
That's good. Yeah, that's actually a really good way of doing it.
Yeah. Number 2 would be flying. Just save loads on flights. Can I pick other people up? Can I carry Louise like Woody and Buzz?
I think that it's only the flying you've got. So you're not Superman, where he's also got super strength and everything, and he can fly. You can
I've
only
got
fly.
my own normal
So you
strength.
could, but at their risk, and only somebody that you would be able to pick up in your normal life. Do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't be able to carry her all the way to like Amsterdam though, would I?
No.
So I'd probably Louise would have to get a
Yeah, but
flight.
couldn't you get like some sort of harness, like big backpack or something, and strap her in the back of that? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it'd be heavy though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Not saying that she's heavy.
Yeah.
But that you have
Just
to be able to
carrying
carry
a
her
person.
in real life.
Yeah, I don't think I could give Louise a piggyback to Charles de Gaulle Airport.
No.
But yeah, I'd
Plus,
fly.
why would you fly directly to the airport?
to pick Louise up?
What? No, you said you wouldn't be able to fly her to the airport.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
To get my bags?
Why, when you can fly, would you go to the airport?
To get my bags. I'd send my suitcase on the plane.
What? What's the point? You was go on the plane. Imagine having the
I
ability.
can't carry Louise and both of our suitcases.
Imagine having the ability to get there loads quicker by flying yourself, and then having to still go and wait at the baggage carousel. That's such a good point, actually. How would you get your stuff there?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Do
maybe
you know what? I might. No, I'm still going to keep flying as two because I think it'd be a really cool thing to do.
Other than holidays, I love how that's what you've thought of. That everything else would be completely normal, but you wouldn't have to go on the plane. What about just flying to the shop and that? You wouldn't have to drive.
Yeah, it would be good.
Yeah.
And then number one would be invisibility. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. How would you use it? Go down the swimming baths.
I would never pay entry to anything again, ever. So me and Louise especially love theme parks. I mean, you never pay for that again.
Louise have to pay.
I mean, it's off price, isn't it? Like, it's rather than us both paying full. Do you know what I mean? Or I'd play the classic, like, I'd go in invisible, then I'd be like, mate, she's just lost her, she's just come in and gone back out. Could you come back? Do you know what I mean? Like, you could blag it, couldn't you? But then what a lot of people don't think is, like, people think invisible means you can, like, go through walls and stuff. You can't. So you can be invisible and sneaky and get in somewhere, but then if they lock the door, you can't get out.
Yeah, you can't get out,
It's a toughie. But, yeah, invisibility, number one.
Well, because you can just get in everywhere for free.
Yeah.
That's all you do with it.
Probably. What else can I do?
What about job-wise then? Because seems like you've got yourself a job for this.
I would be a road worker that works on the M1. Because they're never fucking there either.
What about, let's say that you weren't going to be a superhero. You just had this power that you could do, but you have to carry on your normal life as normal. Which one do you think fits well with your work? Invisibility, so when someone comes in with a tough question.
Yeah. Someone's kicking off. I would say the super speed would be the best.
Yeah. What do you think? I think mind reading's the worst. Because everybody, you hear people slagging you off.
Too much.
Yeah, wouldn't you? It'd work on that. Imagine that. Do you know what I mean? That'd be...
Yeah, imagine that. This chicken enchilada's great. God, he's got a sweaty back. Look how big his head is. Oh my God, the drinks are great. Yeah. It'd be like, I just don't think if I could cope with that.
Exactly, yes. I think that'd be maybe super speed's the best one there.
Right, that draws it to a close then.
Yep.
Next week, we've got a little surprise for you, but we're not going to tell them, are we? Nope. If you like it, you'll watch it.
Yeah. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your mates as well if you're enjoying them.
Yes.
Get them out there. We're on the march to 200 subs at the moment, so that's the next big milestone. Once we get to 200 subs, what we'll do is we'll get the list of all the subscribers, which we can see on our side. We'll pick one at random, and then we're going to give away £50 worth of Amazon vouchers. So if you want to be in the hat, subscribe to the channel. And once we're on 200, we'll pick it out and we'll do a reveal. Shout us some ideas as well for guests, people that you'd like to see come on the podcast. Hit us up in the comment section as well.
Got some good ones coming, haven't we?
But yeah, it'd be nice to know what everybody thinks as well.
Definitely.
Cool, right, so we'll see you next week.
See ya.